After this first 30 days, I've had people come up to me that I haven't seen in a while and they are going, "What are you doing? There is something different." Let's talk about the glow up journey. So, this is something that we are seeing everywhere. People are talking about their glow ups, and oftentimes it has to do with just physical attributes. And you'll see people do these like 24-hour windows or like 1 week of glow up and different procedures and things that they are doing to look better. For me personally, looking at this glow up journey, I am approaching it a bit differently because I think to have long lasting changes, you have to change more than just the physical outside shell. You have to change the way you think about things. You have to change the way you take care of yourself, and you have to turn this into things that are habits. So that is why I selected 90 days as my glow up window. Now, this is about my first 30 days. I'm a little bit past my first 30 days now, but I can tell you there is a big enough difference that other people are starting to notice that there's something happening here. So I'm going to walk you through my first 30 days of what I did physically, things that I changed, all of the habits and everything that have shifted for me. I'm just going to say too, it's not just other people that are noticing a difference. I have noticed a big difference in my appearance as well. And I'll put up a photo. It was a thumbnail that I used for a video, actually. It was just shortly before I began this journey. And I feel like I look fresher. I look healthier. I look happier. My skin looks a lot better. It's a lot of little details that have all started to add up. Let's start with the beauty portion of this glow up because I think there's a lot that has gone into this. I have really taken a critical eye to myself. I think if you struggle to do this, you need to outsource to a really close friend or family member who can take a very honest evaluation of yourself. I find this really interesting because as a professional hairdresser, I can always look at someone else and think like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. This is really going to improve your appearance. It's very second nature almost. But I think sometimes when we turn back at ourselves and we take a look, it can be a little more challenging. And so when I look at my previous hair and makeup choices, I think they are not bad, but I don't necessarily think they were optimized for me, my skin tone. That even trickles over into wardrobe. So the first thing that I did on this journey was clear out my makeup box. And a big part of this was because when I was a redhead, I had a lot more cool tone makeup to balance out the hair and my face, because when I would use warm tone makeup with the very copper hair, I felt like a great pumpkin. Like it was very overwhelmingly warm. So now that I am more my natural color with my hair, I filtered out extremely cool tone makeup because I don't think that that is flattering anymore on me. I think it absolutely sucks the life out of me. And while I was cleaning out my makeup box, I got rid of things that were expired, textures that were off, things that I didn't really like. So that was like first and foremost a very easy way to do this glow up journey. So with that evaluation though of skin tone, eyes, hair, that whole thing, I think it's very important to identify what is your color palette. Seasonal color palettes are very trendy right now, but it actually is a really great tool to figure out what colors suit you and flatter you the most. So for me, I have very like kind of neutral toned hair. My skin it's neutral, but there is a slight warm overtone to it. And then if you look at my eyes, they are green, but in the very centers of them, I have sort of a rust and gold color going on. So I have a lot of warm tones. So I am an autumn. I think I am more of a true autumn. I'm not like a deep autumn. I'm not really a soft autumn palette. I am a true autumn. And in addition to understanding your seasonal color palette, I think what is also really important is understanding your personal color saturation. Some people have very low color saturation. Think people that are very blonde with blue eyes and very fair skin. There's not a lot of contrast between those tones. Compare that with someone who maybe has very fair skin, but very dark hair, very dark eyes. That person has a lot of high contrast. And so when you look at me, I fall somewhere in the middle of that. Like my eyes are not extremely light, but they're not brown or darker either. And the same thing with my hair, and my skin's kind of fair, but it's not extreme fair. So I'm an autumn palette and I'm a mid-level contrast. So this also filtered over into my wardrobe. So with makeup, we evaluated that, getting rid of the cool tones. Same thing had to happen with my wardrobe. And in addition to that, I took things out that either felt like cheap material, that were overwhelming patterns or colors on me. I'll give you some examples. This is a dress that I have that I absolutely love the cut of it. It's super comfortable and just cute on my body. But if you look at this pattern, it's kind of got this dated, like early 2010s sort of pattern. And so I just realized it was time to let that go. I don't need that. I need something a little more calm, a little more flattering on me. Speaking of calm, there's this sweater that I have that is lots of vibrant colors. And I actually really loved this sweater when I bought it. However, these colors are maybe not the most flattering on me. They kind of suck the life out of me. And then on top of that, if you really look at this, it's just a cheap sweater. It's pilled up and it just is kind of gross. I don't really like when material does that, and higher quality fabrics are not going to have that same extreme pilling. And the last thing I'll talk about is I have taken a lot of gray out of my wardrobe because it tends to make me look a little flat. When I have a warmer kind of camel color or a brown, it really brings some life to my skin. Watch what happens when I hold up this gray blazer. It just makes me look a little flattened out. It's not bad. I'm not getting rid of everything gray in my wardrobe, but I do think that it's important for me, especially if I'm going to wear something that's gray, have something with some warmth around my face. I don't think it's necessary to get rid of everything in your closet, but I definitely think trying to work with whatever your color palette is to sort of bend the tones of things. Let me just show you, for example. Even just having that little bit of gold around my face helps a lot with this gray. So I'm not getting rid of everything that's gray in my wardrobe, but I am definitely being more conscientious of what I am pairing my gray with. Again, coming back to color palette and analysis and our contrast levels, I really felt it was important for me to evaluate my hair. Being a hairstylist, I've had so many different colors over the years. I've had extremely dark, I've had extremely blonde, I've had really cool tones, I've had copper hair. I've literally done almost everything. I just haven't done like neons or pastels. That's just really not me. But with my hair, I felt like it was very important to evaluate this because as I'm getting older, I am experiencing gray hairs. So one of the things that I have to think about is the upkeep with my hair. And also just what flatters me the most. And so I think one of the great things that you can do is really look at what is your natural color and play off of that a little bit. So try to stick within 2 shades lighter or 2 shades darker of what your hair is doing, and you're going to have a lot easier maintenance. It's going to usually be more flattering on your skin tone. So for me, naturally, I sit pretty close to a natural level 7, which is like a very light brunette or dark blonde, so to speak. And so with my hair, one of the struggles that I had was that I had old color on my hair. So I tried my best to fade that out. But my goal with my hair was so that I wouldn't have to touch up my roots a whole bunch. What I really want is just some very soft, baby fine, like Babylights, little micro fine highlights that are going to grow out very softly, so I'm not constantly having to touch up my hair. This is also great for improving the health of your hair as well. So I went in and I did some Babylights, and I have been so happy with my hair. I think that it really flatters my skin tone and it brings some life and lightness around my face. It's different for me. I am not used to embracing sort of this mid-level tone. I think with my hair, I always wanted really, really light or really, really dark, and I'm really bad at like the in-between. But since I've been embracing this, I have gotten so many compliments on me as a whole. It's not just people complimenting, oh, I love your hair, I love that color, whatever. It suits me. And that's how I know I have gotten my hair right, because the compliments are not just about my hair. They are focused on me instead. Now let's move into the skincare portion, because I had really been struggling with my skin with the like adult acne situation. I never really had acne as a teenager. This was something that crept up on me very recently, and I was having pretty extreme breakouts for me. And I am one of those people that, like, when I get a breakout, I'm like, oh my God, get it off of my face. I want it off. I'm not like a nervous, anxious picker, but I am someone who I will try to get it out of my face. And that's a really bad habit. It is not good. So stopping skin picking was a huge thing for me. I am one of those people that I get those little magnifying mirrors and the extraction tool, and I go to town on any clogged pore, whatever. So I've had to stop that. I've had to take a step back, because I was wrecking my skin by doing that, and it was just getting worse and worse. So putting down the extraction tool, not getting in those magnifying mirrors, really just breaking up with that has been an enormous game changer for me. The next thing that I did was because of Dr. Shireen Idris. She is a dermatologist and she has wonderful advice. So one of the things that I really struggled with are sebaceous filaments, which they kind of look like blackheads, but they're not. They're just the oil kind of sitting in your pores, and it looks a little bit darker. It's not like a clogged pore. And I would oftentimes try to get that darkness out of my pores. And again, was wrecking my face in doing so. So one of her recommendations was using this Kate Somerville Eradikate Daily Foaming Cleanser Acne Treatment. What's special about this is it has sulfur in it, so it helps to clear out those pores. And her recommendation was putting this on like a little face mask for a few minutes before you wash it off, because it's going to help clear those pores out. And she was totally right. This stuff is amazing. I absolutely love it. It has become a daily staple for me, but it has really helped to clear out the clogging that was happening in my skin. I don't want to be without this stuff. I think it's incredible. It is a little pricey, but you don't have to use that much of it each time you use it. And it works really well for helping to clear your skin out. And the other thing I noticed with that was when I started using that, the acne and breakouts that I was having started going away too. This stuff is phenomenal. So if you are struggling with acne, sebaceous filaments, blackheads, whatever, I highly recommend this. And I will say I was using Dial soap before this because it is antibacterial. And yes, while it works, I was concerned that using it long term, not only are you killing the good bacteria, but you're killing the bad bacteria. So I was concerned for the microbiome of my skin. And I do think when I stopped using the Dial that initially my skin got worse before it started getting better again. But this stuff is baby. I love it so much. The next thing I started doing for my skin to help with the breakouts and to reduce some of the hyperpigmentation left over from the acne was using an exfoliating mask. So this is the one from Verse. This is the Doctor's Visit Instant Resurfacing Mask. This stuff is great. You only use it for a couple minutes. It kind of looks like Jello, but this is an AHA, BHA, and enzyme mask that is fantastic for clearing off dull old skin. It's great for helping to fade out those hyperpigmentation marks. Honestly, I don't even have that many leftover acne marks. I will say this can be a little intense if you do have somewhat sensitive skin. So what I would do is follow it up with my Peau Butte. It's the 24 karat gold precious vitality mask, and this stuff is pricey. It is so pricey, but it is phenomenal for calming down inflammation, soothing irritated skin. So I like to use this first and then come back in with this and leave it on for like 20 minutes or so. Great for soothing out the skin and hydrating it as well. In addition to the things that I was doing for my skin, I also have dedicated to doing a better job of cleaning my makeup brushes, because there is nothing worse than having a bunch of oil and bacteria on your makeup brush and then spreading that all over your face. Make sure you are washing your makeup brushes if you struggle with acne. It is really important, and it's incredibly helpful. Another skincare thing that I have been doing that I think is phenomenal is Gua Sha honestly, if you've been on any sort of social media, TikTok platforms, whatever, this is nothing new, but it's been very, very trendy on these platforms. And so I started doing gua sha because I tend to hold on to a lot of fluid and stagnation in the lower part of my face. I do have a very round face to begin with. So when I get that extra fluid, I can just look very, very puffy. So this is a great technique to use for reducing that puffiness. And in addition to that, I upgraded my gua sha tool. So I have this one from Yina. This is one, I will link it down below. It's a little expensive, but I will say I love this one so much because it is a bigger gua sha stone. Let me show you a comparison to my old one. All right, so look at the size difference here. This is just a standard, typical rose quartz gua sha compared to the Yina. The Yina is much, much bigger. And why I like this, I just felt like this was so thin and kind of awkward to hold when I was using it compared to this, which is quite a bit thicker. And I just feel like much more substantial and easy to grip. And so I also like that this one has several different surfaces. So this one is great for lymphatic drainage and really just stimulating the fascia. You can also use this on your body. I oftentimes will hold it like this and use this portion when I am swiping. And then this part right here, you can do kind of under your eyes, or you can also do what I love to do, which is hooking it right around the jaw before you bring it down the neck. I just think this is such a worthwhile investment, and I have noticed my face is not as puffy now. So if you're looking for a new gua sha and you are ready to invest a little bit, I highly recommend this one. Like I said, I'll link that down below. I also started using my Ourself Lip Filler more religiously. This is so great if you are looking for an alternative to traditional lip filler. I don't know that I will ever get lip filler. I don't know that I need it. I'm at least at a place in my life right now where I don't feel like I would. I like the shape of my lips. I just want to maintain their natural volume. So this has been a great option for me. Never say never on lip filler. You never know. Maybe in 10 years I will feel differently and I will want some very natural looking volume. But for right now, this is perfect for me. So I bumped up the usage of this, and I think it really does help to fill out your lips naturally and smooth out the lines. It works really, really well. In terms of a more intensive treatment for my skin that I have opted to do, I have started using the Clear Lift laser. This is an in-office treatment that you can go have done. I will do a full review on this after my last session and after I've had enough time to speak on it fully. But I do think that the Clear Lift laser is phenomenal if you are looking for a treatment that is going to help boost collagen without having downtime. The great thing about Clear Lift is it's a non-ablative laser, so you're not going to have several days where you look like you have chicken skin or anything like that. It's not going to make those tiny holes on the outer surface. It does heat up below the dermis, and it kind of works similarly to like microneedling, where it makes holes underneath the skin that collagen will go back in to fill up and help plump up. And I have noticed a difference, especially around my eyes. The last time that I went, she did it over my lips, and the other day my friend was like, have you been using that lip plumping gloss again? I've been using my Ourself, but I had been using that before as well. I do think that the Clear Lift laser over my lips really has helped with the natural volume and collagen in them. So I will continue to update on my treatments. I've done 2 so far around my eyes, and then my entire face we did at another time as well. So love that treatment though, and I do think that that has made a huge difference. People have definitely been commenting on my skin and how clear and bright it looks, and I think it's a combination of my at-home routine but also my in-office routine that I had done. Now we'll move into something that I think is incredibly important, because when we first meet someone, we oftentimes will shake their hand. If we are paying for something, our hands are constantly in front of people. So something that I have really been focusing on is hand and nail care. I don't have anything crazy on my nails right now, just a clear coat of polish, but they're neat and tidy, and I've made sure my cuticles are not overly dry. But one of the moisturizers that I really love in particular is this Weleda Skin Food. The reason why I love this so much is it has beeswax in it. So when you put this stuff on, it actually will stay on your skin. I know a lot of makeup artists will use this for the face. You can add a little bit as like a highlight almost. but it really helps to moisturize and take away any dryness that you're experiencing. And especially when it starts getting cold out, I think having this on is a game changer. And I have been using this at nighttime, and I feel like it has just been so great for my skin. Great for cracked heels and stuff too. And continuing on with the theme of moisture, I have also been more diligent with applying moisturizer to my body. I am so bad about this. I think when you're a makeup girly and you get all excited about what's going on your face, sometimes you can neglect your body. And so I really have been focusing on putting on a moisturizer when I get out of the shower. So some of my favorites are, there's one from Soap and Glory. This is their body butter version of it, but it's the Righteous Butter, the original pink scent. It smells so good. It smells like rose and bergamot. Like this tub is empty now, but like I still have it and I wanted to show you. I've had people ask me what perfume I'm wearing when I have this on. It smells so good. I like the body butter. I like the original lotion. It's phenomenal. If you also want a little bit of extra moisture, I also really love the Nooks oil, the dry oil. This stuff smells so good. I've used this before. My mom was like, what do you smell like? You smell like a garden. Like it's got this kind of magnolia, a hint of vanilla. It's not like vanilla. It's like just an added bit of warmth to your skin. And it just smells so good. It leaves your skin feeling so soft. You can even put a little bit on the ends of your hair. It just really helps to add an extra layer of moisture. And then one that I just think is kind of fun is the original scented oil, the Boujee oil from Riddle. This stuff smells so good. It's got like an ambery, musky kind of scent to it. And it really just works with your pheromones and your pH. And oh, it smells so good. Oh, it just smells so good. This is like kind of a luxy little splurge, but I love this stuff so much. I've also been trying to embrace slightly more dewy makeup. I think it's just a bit more flattering as you get older, and it makes your skin look more youthful and fresh. So I've been using a little less powder, things that have a little more radiance underneath if I'm using one of my powder foundations, just to make sure my skin has a really nice overall glow. I mean, I've been doing so many other things to boost the glow of my skin, so it was a natural step to embrace more dewy makeup as well. And speaking of the overall glowiness, I've also started using a self tanner a few times a week on my face. I really like this one from Saint Tropez because you can mix a few drops in with your moisturizer, and I do this every couple days just because I do exfoliate, so it's going to not last quite as long on my face. And then for my body, I have dedicated to using the Jergens Natural Glow. And I don't know what they did to the scent of this stuff, but it smells so much more fresh, and you don't get that weird like self-tanner funky stink anymore. This is just great to give your skin a little added life and glow, especially when you have colder winter months and you're not getting as much sun. I think having a little added self-tanner is a great way to just look a little more vibrant. Now moving into a little bit of hair care, I think especially since I have done some stuff to my hair recently with the bleach, and it's important to add some moisture and strength back into your hair. So I did talk about this before, but the Pantene Miracle Rescue Deep Conditioning Treatment is amazing. When I went to the Procter & Gamble labs, we got to do a side-by-side test with this and a $50 competitor, and I thought that this actually had better results on the hair. The hair was left softer, shinier, bouncier. Both sides felt strong, and but I just thought overall this had a better conditioning effect. So I've been using this every week, and what I also love about this treatment is that it helps your hair to dry faster because you're helping the lipid layer in your hair, and so it helps to repel water a bit more. So amazing product, very affordable, highly recommend that. Also for nighttime, I have been doing a very low, loose braid, just using a soft satin scrunchie, but this type of protective style helps your hair not get matted and tangled. And just as an example, so like say like I'll just do a twist. When you are doing a twist on your hair, you have less hair exposed to the outer elements, like your pillow, for example, because you've got some of these hairs just on the outside and they are protecting all of those strands on the inside. So I think using some sort of satin scrunchie or something like that is really great to keep your hair from getting snarled and matted while you sleep, and it's going to help keep it soft and detangled. And I think also it can really help kind of lock in moisture in your hair as well. I like to put a little hair oil through the ends and then do that. This next step I have been a huge fan of my whole life, teeth whitening. So I have been whitening my teeth a bit, and I have been using the Crest White Strips, the Glamorous White. Now, I don't know why, but the Glamorous White seems to work better than all of the other types of whitening that Crest offers, but I can definitely see my smile is brighter than it had been. I don't think you necessarily notice when your smile starts getting dingy and dull until you really look at photos and you're like, wait a minute, like what's going on with my teeth? And really, once you've whitened them, you can really see a big difference from before. So not a super expensive thing. I think the easiest way to find these particular ones is on Amazon, and they work really, really well. The last thing on my beauty upgrades that I have been doing are my eyebrows. So I've wanted to do this for a very long time, but I went and had my eyebrows nano-bladed. So that is a combination of someone using a tool and like a tattoo gun type tool, and then also some microblading strokes as well. I really, really searched for a while trying to find someone, and I went to Studio Vetiver in Denver, and I saw Carolyn, and she is just such a absolute magician at what she does. I'm like, what is it, 5 days out now? When you look at my eyebrows, you don't necessarily look at them and really think I've had anything done. And that was my goal. I really like the natural shape of my brows. I have very natural high peaks, and I really iterated to her the importance of keeping that. That's a familial trait. My grandfather had really high peaked eyebrows. So I didn't want to get rid of that. I just wanted to fill in these sparse areas that I end up having to spend so much time on every day. And so this is one of those treatments that it was a little scary because it's like right on your face. But like when you find a really talented artist who really listens to you, it makes all the difference in the world. I haven't done anything to my brows other than their normal aftercare because I'm still within that window of aftercare for them. But I'm so happy with how they're healing already. And then I'll go back in January, I think, for a touch-up. But honestly, I'm so happy I finally invested in doing this. I think it makes a really big difference because when I wake up, I'm just kind of like, I feel ready. I don't feel like my face looks unbalanced. I really wanted a nice solid brow that works with the natural angularity that I have and looks very natural. And she did a phenomenal job. That was about $500. So... but honestly, it's going to last for several years, and I'm so, so happy that I did it. Now that we've talked about all of the like beauty portion of this glow up, I want to talk about some other elements that I think are equally as important, if not more. The outer stuff is easy to change and do whatever you feel like you need to, but this next couple of things that I'm going to talk about, they take effort and they take consistency and work. So with the more health-related aspect of my glow-up journey, I have incorporated daily walks, trying to do that in the morning in the sunlight if possible, if the weather is permitting. If not, I do have a walking pad, so I can go and do like 30 minutes on there. But just doing that is a really great way to get some fresh oxygenation through your body. It's great for clearing your mind. I like going outside because I think that early morning sunlight is really great for helping your circadian rhythm and helping you to sleep better at night as well. It's just good to get your body moving. And in addition to my walking, I started incorporating some weightlifting again 2 to 3 times a week because as women, when we get older, our bones need that density, and weightlifting is a really great way to maintain bone density, in addition to maintaining joint health, flexibility, that sort of thing, and just being strong. I think about as I get older, I don't want to lose my mobility and struggle and need a lot of assistance. I really want to maintain my self-sufficiency as long as I can, and so I think it is so important to take care of yourself physically. So I've also been upping my hydration. Let me show you. I decided to get my massive Stanley tumbler. This is like a 40-ounce beast, but I want to get at least 90 ounces of water a day. 120 is even better. So refilling this guy a couple times a day. And I think that has really helped also with my skin. I think it gives me more luminosity. And I just think when you're better hydrated, your cellular function throughout your body tends to be a bit better. And in addition to my hydration, I have also cut back my caffeine. I used to be an all-day coffee drinker. Yay for being Swedish and loving coffee. But I do think that coffee can interrupt your sleep, which I have been having trouble sleeping more easily at night. So I've reduced my caffeine intake, and I'm having just 2 cups of coffee in the morning. And I've definitely noticed, like, I think that it's also been better for my skin because caffeine tends to dehydrate you as well as disrupting sleep and that sort of thing. So that's been a hard one, but it's been important. I mean, every now and then I'll have a 3rd cup, like if I'm sitting down with a friend or whatever. But as a general rule, I'm not slamming coffee all day like I used to. I also have been aiming to get 7 hours of sleep every night. I feel like that is my sort of sweet spot. 7.5 is even better if I can get that much. It is hard when you're mama and you're taking care of the house and the kids and everything that's going on all the time and trying to get your brain to shut off at night. I think it's really important to put your phone down too. Like, don't sit there and doom scroll right before you go to bed. So trying to get more sleep and also prioritizing rest. Now, rest and sleep are not the same thing. Yes, you can feel more rested when you sleep, but rest, I think, can be an active thing. So being awake and intentional with that relaxation time. One of the things that I did more recently was scheduling a trip to the mountains with my family, and I loaded up all the food and I packed up everybody, and we did not have any major plans for when we got there. We just kind of showed up, go hiking if you want, but just having that mental release and not having so much intensity focusing on screens or drama or whatever, just resting. That could even be having a cup of tea outside. That could be reading a book. Whatever it is that is restful to you, I think it's important to find. So for me, I love going for a casual hike and being out in nature. Like, that is the most relaxing, restful thing to me. And also on this health note, like, as I'm even thinking about it, I'm like, gotta get my posture better. I think especially after having my baby, after my daughter was born, you spend so much time like curled forward and feeling kind of hunchy because you're supporting this little person. And so really it's been important for me to think about my posture and get those shoulders back, but not unnaturally back. So the way that I like to think about this with my posture is thinking about that little triangular space between your shoulder blades. Activating that will naturally pull your shoulders back, and making sure to tighten your core as well, because that's naturally going to kind of shift you more upright. So it's a multifaceted issue, and I think especially if you've had issue after having a baby or what have you, trying to get some of that core strength back is really, really important, as well as focusing on those little muscles between your shoulder blades. And now let's talk about the mental health and wellness portion of this. I think this is absolutely critical for that mindset shift that you have to have when you're doing any type of glow up or change in your life. One of the, I think, simplest ways to really start to shift your mindset is by having a gratitude practice. Now, for me, what that looks like is every single day, whether it's the start of the day or the end of the day, I think about one thing that I am truly grateful for, that I am so excited about, that I am thrilled that I have, whether that's my family, my friends, whatever I'm doing during that day, any opportunities that come to me, what have you. Finding something every single day to be grateful for is a great way to shift your mindset into a positive one. And there's something about that when you get into that positive mindset and you are thinking differently, you start to notice other things in your life having this sort of snowball effect, and more things seem to go right when you are able to focus on the good. Give it a try. I don't know. It's that whole like law of attraction kind of thing, I think. but I have noticed it is real and it is major, and my life has really started to change by focusing on being grateful for things. Another very simple thing that you can do is to start your day by emptying your mind. And what I mean by that is sit down with pen and paper and journal for like 5 minutes. And what I've noticed from doing this is that it gives me an opportunity to unburden myself from my very active to-do list that usually happens when I first wake up. Like, I'll get my day started, take care of my daughter, get her to school, whatever. But then I have started sitting down and taking at least 5 minutes to just write out everything I am thinking, I am feeling, whatever it may be that day. And in doing so, I am able to approach my day with a much more clear head. It doesn't take very long, and it really does make such a big difference, because sometimes what would happen with me is I would ruminate on the same petty thought that is unhelpful. And so when you write it down and you quite literally get it out of your head, you are able to step into your day with a fresh new vision. And I think that it's really, really been game changing for me. Also, while you're sitting there journaling, you got a book out, you can kind of sit down and do some goal setting. And I think that this is such an underrated thing. Like, I think when you're younger, you sit down with your planner at school, right? And you're writing out everything that has to happen for the week. And I think some people do this as they get older as well with, businesses and that sort of thing and things that have to happen. But I also think that for just everybody else, I think setting goals is so incredible for changing the trajectory of your life. Because if you're just kind of waking up every day and you don't really have any specific thing that you are working towards, you lose motivation, and it makes it much harder to achieve anything, especially if you don't know what you're trying to achieve. Knowing what you're trying to achieve in life, I think, is really, really important. So what I like to do, I do this every week where I write out what it is that needs to get done that week, like all of my goals of things that need to happen. You can even break that down into like bite-sized chunks for daily things that need to happen, and then look at like a month-long picture of what you're trying to accomplish in that month. Break that month into your year and see all of the things you can accomplish when you really break it down into bite-sized chunks. So goal setting is a great way to transform your life, whatever it may be. Little goals, big goals, sit back and see the big picture. Amazing. I also think it's important to spend some time reading. And I don't mean just with work or social media. I mean like sitting down with a good old-fashioned book, reading. And it doesn't have to be for very long. I know we're all busy and we've got things going on. But reading is great because it allows your mind to focus differently. Like when we watch a show, we are mindlessly zoning out and being fed a story. Whereas when you read, your brain is having to make those connections a bit differently. And it's an incredibly relaxing thing to do as well. So pick up a book for like 15 minutes a day. More would be great if you can, but I understand we're all busy. So that's a great thing to do for your mind. The last thing I will leave you on for the first 30 days, I think, is really pivotal for your journey. And I think it definitely has been for mine. It is a saying that comes back to me all the time. And it is, other people's opinions of you are none of your business. Meaning, what other people think of you, it doesn't matter. Those are their thoughts. Imagine feeling entitled to knowing what someone else is thinking about you all the time. Stop worrying about what other people are thinking of you and show up as your authentic self. The right people are going to show up in your life when you are being you. And I also want to ask you, when was the last time you liked everybody you met or liked everything about everyone that you met? I'm pretty sure you haven't either. And it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Let people be who they are. Stop worrying about it. I think that is a great way to approach a glow up. Be less concerned with what other people think of you and be concerned with your opinions of you. All right. That is everything from my first 30 days of this 90-day glow up. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you're feeling inspired. And if you want to follow along on my daily journey of this, Make sure you follow me over on TikTok. I do post every day what I'm doing for my 90-day glow up. And if not, then I will see you back here with the next 30 days, the part 2 of the 90-day glow up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.